catching the
but
whole
women's
L.
perspective is important though.
We
I
gonna
don't get my
move on.
perspective.
We gonna move on. So COVID versus your relationship. How do you think people's relationship has changed during this mandatory lockdown?
I heard
That's kind of
Based,
tricky. I
you
mean,
know,
it depends
sitting
on.
listening
based
now.
on what's out there. Hold up, real quick.
Yeah.
Based on what's out there, they said domestic violence has gone up. Just like
Mm-hmm.
relationships just have been like, because you got those relationships where people don't stay home, so they were forced to for the first 60 to 90 days, and
Yeah. They
you know,
can't
Figure out who they with.
yeah,
You
and
get to
that's
see who
why
you with.
I tell people all the time when people ask me like, what's the key to my relationship? I tell people you gotta like who you love, because unfortunately you can love somebody but you don't really like them, and people don't understand what I be saying. You can go straight from the lust phase to the I love you phase, because the lust phase could last a long time, and then you go into that, you know, she's pretty, the sex is good, now I love you, but y'all can't, unless y'all spending money or having sex, the relationship is like stale. There's nothing going on. Y'all can't talk about nothing. There's nothing in common. She's only happy when you spending money. You only happy when you getting head, and there's nothing in between. And now you stuck during COVID, and y'all can't stand each other. So
Yeah, I think that's what happened. What happened is that those relationships who were lacking that anyways, kind of just, everything went crazy during COVID during this time. And then feel that relationships that were, strong, got strong.
Well, I feel this way about relationships. Like, if you're gonna step in with someone, it's just, at the end of the day, you have to put down what's important to you.
Okay.
what you say, Ro?
I feel like when you step into a relationship, you got to put down from the very beginning what's important to you. You know what I mean, on both sides. And then if you simply do that, you'll get to know who this person is.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you get past that lust. Like in the beginning, everything's about lust. She's bad. She got a fat ass. She's dope. I mean, you got to get past that phase, because that's gonna last maybe 6 months, maybe 8 months, if you lucky. I mean, and then you realize y'all got nothing in common, and it's over.
I mean, you don't have to have something in common to have it be over, but because you could like your shows and she could like her shows. You know what I'm saying? She could like her games, you could like your game. I just think with the COVID-19 relationship, I just think for it to last, you just gotta give each other their time and their little space when they want to do something, and not always be under them all day. I just feel like
that's facts. But I guess I think you still get to see who you with, man. And I think that's a lot of our problems in general. Like, we find escapes instead of like really sitting down and knowing yourself and knowing the person that you with.
Mm-hmm.
Because it takes time. That shit takes effort. It really takes, you putting in some work to make some shit happen. And a lot of people, their mind is on avoidance. Like, they don't got time. It's hustle and bustle. We in a microwave society. Like, you know what I'm saying? Everything is quick, fast, and you not really getting to know who you with. I think at the end of the day, if you know somebody, and yet you know when to give them space, you know when they're hurt, you know when they're mad, you know when it's time. Like, all right, yeah, babe tripping right now. I'm gonna go in the room over here, chill. I'm gonna give her some time to breathe. A lot of people don't know that. They're not analyzing the person that they with. They don't know them. So you don't know up in her face, or she up in your face, and she don't know when you aggravated, when you triggered, when you don't want to be bothered. So I think that's, we all on the hustle bustle, 9 to 5, 12-hour shifts, trying to get money, this and that, watching the game, watching our shows. It's avoidance. Like, it's not like sitting with yourself. And I think that's what COVID did with a lot of people, made them sit with themselves, and people really started that mental started to break down. You know what I mean? And it's rough sitting with yourself and like, damn, this is who I really am. Or, you know what I'm saying? Like, that shit is and a lot of people think that, like, you see reality. Like nothing else to do, and you gotta be with yourself,
Mm-hmm.
see who you really are, and that's the same
I
thing.
noticed you're not as fabulous as you thought you were.
Yeah, your shorty
Listen.
can't get up and go see her friends when she mad at you or when she don't want to be in the house. She gotta sit there and deal with your shit, and vice versa. You can't go play ball. You know what I'm saying? Or get out the house when she getting on your nerves. I gotta sit there and y'all gotta build. So I think it helps more when y'all friends and y'all really sit there and analyze, and you really into a person and you kind of know who they are. Then you can kind of get through it. But we live in a microwave society. People not really paying attention to nothing around them. They just focus on what they think is important, and that's it.
Nah,
So-
remember, it's focus on the first nut. Remember that. The first how we all got together is the first nut.
It's safe to say that communication is the key. You need to talk to your partner and get to know your partner so that when these things happen, you already know that y'all can still get through it and stuff like that.
But real communication. Some people communicate to avoid too. Like, are you really being real about who you are and what you feel? Are you really telling them this is who I am and this is what I need and this is what I want? Are you really telling the truth and really willing to accept the outcome of that? You know what I'm saying? Are you ready to step out on that limb? Some people just they tell half of how they feel, and that shit backfire too.
On some real shit, if you listen, you have to do some shit like this to make people really care about it. You have to pair somebody up with somebody ugly, like an ugly chick or an ugly nigga, and deal with that. If you could deal with that nigga in the crib, you could figure a lot of shit out. On some real shit. I'm not even being funny. Y'all think I'm being funny about it?
Yeah, it sounds like you're being funny.
No, I'm dead ass serious.
You ain't seen
Like-
some of these couples out here. There's a lot of people paired up with ugly people, son. You know what I'm saying? I don't
People like what they like. I ain't
Nah,
not-
think about it.
That's
Think
whatever
about
you
it.
like,
Listen.
you know what I'm
Think
saying?
about it.
Whatever
Yo,
you
all
like,
jokes
dog,
aside.
you know?
All jokes aside. All the couples that's breaking up is beautiful women. Like, how come they getting kicked to the curb? How come niggas kicking all the beautiful big booty chicks to the curb?
Cause they
Think
ain't
about
get
that.
time. They ain't even realize that shorty.
Think about that.
You feel what I'm
Out
saying?
that they're shallow and they have
She
nothing.
can't make
People are ugly inside.
she can't make mac and cheese. You ain't never know that she couldn't cook. 'Cause she
Oodles and noodles for
restaurant.
dinner every
Yo,
night.
know
not
what
the
I'm saying?
mac and cheese. Chill.
She can't
That's
she
another
can't make
thing,
a steak. She can't cook, you know what I'm saying? Like she doing is taking selfies all day and you not even paying attention because y'all used to going out and being around your friends and dancing and you know what I'm saying, and doing what you're doing. Now you really see, yo, she can't read. Like
Nah, I'm about to close my
it's the same thing.
She can't read.
Conversation like what?
No
Yo,
substance.
niggas about to get canceled.
No substance. You know what I'm saying? Yo,
No,
I
also,
be yo.
you know what
that food
people,
you get.
you know what people do too, and it really messes a lot of relationships up. They try to impress the person that they just met, and it's nothing wrong with trying to impress somebody, but you impress people to the point where you're being somebody who you're not, and when that wears off after like a year or two, the girl or the guy is going to say, this person changed. When in actuality, you didn't really change. You just being yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, I told my wife from the beginning, I mean, we was friends, so it kind of made it easier. I was like, yo, this is me. You be you. If it work, it work. If it don't, it don't. Like, so, you know, that's what I feel like people got to do. Stop fronting. I understand, like, you may have gotten a girl that's out of your league. You might have gotten a guy that's out of your league, and you feel like you got to go above and beyond. But that's only gonna last a year or two.
That's facts right there. That's
You're gonna be
facts right
fighting
there.
all the time because y'all feel like each other changed, but being that y'all both comfortable now, y'all both being yourself, and y'all might not like each other when y'all both finally being real.
But let me ask you, what's out of your league? What would you consider out of your league?
No, I'm not saying like my wife is bad, so I'm not saying she's out of my league because I'm confident as hell. But sometimes you see a girl and you just be like, yo, that's the prettiest. If I could get her, that's the prettiest girl I ever had. And sometimes when a dude get a girl like that, he spending up all his money he ain't got to take her out to dinner, burning through his savings.
That's tricking. Now, that's tricking.
But you're trying to impress a girl because you're trying to lock her down, and it's the same thing with women. Like you'll meet a guy who might be he got everything going for himself. He might be a baller, so you borrowing your homegirl's clothes and you pulling up you all the time, like,
man.
And I don't know what women do to go above and beyond, but to prove to the guy that they all that, and then
I could throw a scenario that's realistic in there. I have some girlfriends that can't cook. And so they've never lived with a guy. The guy doesn't know that they can't cook. So, if they're eating out. So then living together is now different because he's expecting to get a home cooked meal. But she's not, they don't cook, And another thing, going back to what he said, because he said, what is out of your league? I feel that can be in so many ways. It doesn't necessarily have to be looks. I'm a spiritual woman. Mm-hmm. I need you to be a spiritual man. So you would be out of that person would be out of your league because it's just not going to work.
So you basically tell that guy he's beneath you?
You don't have to go to church, but I need you to know about God, or, out of your league. If this person is at a certain status in life and you're not even looking to be there, then that person is out of your league because they're not going to come down to your world. You have to elevate to theirs. But if you're pretending to do that, it's going to show up in the source because you're not going to be able to keep it up for too long.
So the question I'm asking, a lot of
people fall in love with the facade. And so when the real people show up, it's like, who are you? I met your representative. I didn't want to meet your representative.
Can I ask you a question?
I wanted to meet you.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes, sir.
How many people you told that they beneath you?
I've never told anyone that they're beneath me.
But out of your league is meaning if you're not in their league, that means if you at this plateau, that means they at that plateau. That means they beneath you, right?
It don't have to be words. It could be actions also.
It don't necessarily mean like the person. See,
I
use the word out of the league. I don't think her definition is the same thing as mine. Like I use that because, normally from a standpoint of you feel like somebody is hard to obtain or hard to get to, and you've been trying to get to that person for a long time, or you've been stuck in the friend zone and you finally got your way out. You might go above and beyond to try to impress somebody you've been trying to get with for a long time. Or
so yours is more so, I'm trying to understand, Pete. So yours is more so materialistic and looks?
I mean, let's be honest. That's the first thing you see. That, like, from a man's point of view.
First thing from God is the looks.
From God's point of view, the first thing he sees the looks. Is what, the type of woman he's looking for, his type, so to speak, which could change over time, or, the girls that he's used to, and he sees the girl that's like, wow, she's fire. I gotta step my game up. She might be a little out of your league. If you could snag it, you could snag it. It's good for you.
Right.
I'll say this, like a couple of us in this room, we all been bouncers, and of course we all dated a couple of females that we thought was out of the league. And every time I dated a girl that was supposed to be a 10 or a 12, usually was dumb as a box of rocks. So I prefer the 5s. They have personality. You know what I mean? I'd rather have personality than a 10.
I'm like that now. I date a ugly.
I think you should have.
I'm good now.
You should have. You should find a woman with a multitude. A woman or a man with a multitude of the things that you're looking for, but from across the room, you can't see personality.
That's true, but by the first date, you can tell.
Oh, that's
usually on the first date, every time I dated one of those so-called hot girls from the club, I'm completely annoyed within half an hour of the date.
Oh, you better
You
than
help
me,
me order.
brother.
I don't know what I want. I'm like, oh my God, this chick is real not for me. So I'd rather date a 5 than a 10 at this point in my life.
That's dope.
I mean, because a 5, she always had to work hard. She always had to sell herself, so she had to develop a personality. A girl that's 10, everything's given to her. Every dude wants it, and she's wondering why every 3 months she's dating a new guy.
Dang.
That's what it is.
So if you're a 10, you're shallow and dumb.
I'm not. That rule doesn't apply to every woman. There's some
Yeah,
women
I mean, that's what it
and have a
sounds
personality.
like.
I didn't say that.
No, that's not for every woman. I didn't say that. I didn't say every woman. But the large
You
majority, I'll say about 90%. I'll say about 90% of the hot
90%?
girls in there.
There's only 10% room for error.
I can always tell the dumb girls real quickly, oh, I'm trying to have a hot girl summer. Oh, that's a dummy. Let me get away from her. Yeah, man.
All right, we're gonna
Me.
we gonna leave that one right here.